Hey, what's going on? We have brakes, we have motor mounts. We're putting them on the car before the next track day because we have to. Can't really go to the track without them, so hope you enjoy. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's JP with Autosport.com. Thanks so much for joining us. We have some cool, fun stuff in front of us, ready to bang out some wrenching today. We have brake rotors, we have brake pads, we have a plethora of rear motor mounts right here. Obviously, we're not going to put all of them on the car, but we wanted to display some of the ones that we sell for you, so I'll get to that in a few. But yeah, we are putting new brakes and a motor mount on the car before the next track day. Here's why. If you watched our first track day video, just so that we went out there and got a baseline at the track, the brakes do not hold up. We knew that was gonna happen. I know you can't be in the car with me on a video, but I promise you after about one lap on completely bone stock brakes, the car feels unsafe. It's like if you pushed it 2 or 3 laps really hard, you would be puckering your rear end pretty hard. So it gets pretty crazy on stock brakes at a road course. You cannot heat them up much past, you know, a few really hard stops without them just really starting to fade. They cannot take heat. In order for us to even progress any further and continue doing track stuff, we have to upgrade the brakes. This is a fairly mild brake upgrade. We're just replacing rotors and pads only. As you can see, these are slotted rotors. They are EBC's version of a slotted rotor. Every company seems to have like a slightly different type of slot, but they all relatively do the same thing. And then we're using EBC yellow stuff pads. The yellow stuff is kind of like a track day pad. They have the regular Ultimax pads, those are kind of like a stock replacement. Then they have green stuff, which is like a nice performance brake pad for spirited driving, you know, canyon carving, stuff like that. Red stuff is a really nice ceramic based pad, really low brake dust, good performance in and out of maybe some autocross events and stuff on the weekends. The yellow stuff is more for like a track day or a track weekend. You can't punish the crap out of them for, you know, 25-30 laps per se, at least not in my experience. I've tried that before. They do hold up really well, but they will eventually be gone if you use them really hard for too long. So it's really like a handful of laps at a time, let them cool off, then go drive your car home type of brake pad. They really, once they heat up, they do stay really consistent. I've had them on a couple other cars. They really feel nice. After 2 or 3 laps, they still feel the same. Maybe a 5% drop off in braking power. So they stay pretty consistent. So I have a lot of experience with the EBC yellow stuffs. I'm gonna stick with those. I put those kind of on multiple project cars that we've had because I like them so much. So there's some other good braking options out there. I'm not gonna say that this is the you know, be all end all brake pad and rotor setup. There's a lot of other ones out there that work good, but this is what we're putting on our ST. It should work really good. We'll report to you with results after the track day. And then we've got motor mounts. This is specifically just the rear motor mount that I have on display here. This is not a critical upgrade for the track, but the motor in the ST, it's transverse mounted, so, and it makes a lot of torque. So as you're shifting and as you're going through a gear, the motor moves front to back a lot. It's kind of like the lower side of the engine is sweeping back and forth towards the front and back of the car. That causes the car to kind of become unbalanced, I guess, a little bit. You can feel it. Once you put an upgraded motor mount in your car, you can feel the car feel more consistent and more balanced. It doesn't jerk around quite as much when the motor can sit more still in the engine base. So this is like the first most basic motor mount upgrade you can get. You can just get away with putting one of these on your car and it stiffens it up quite a bit. So we are going to upgrade to that. As you can see, we have 4 different motor mounts in front of me right here. We have the Cobb rear motor mount, which is aesthetically, it's a beautiful mount. Very simple, nice design, big bushings, so there's a lot of vibration control there. They have a nice kind of inset nut here so that you can just tighten on the bolt on this side once you get it installed. Really clean look there. This is the Jbr Mount. They recently actually just redesigned their mount to this full billet aluminum setup, so it's a little bit lighter, very strong, nice big bushing just like the Cobb, so it's going to absorb some good vibration. Jbr actually makes a 70, an 80, and an 88 durometer rear bushing for just the various stiffness levels that you seek in your rear motor mount. This is the Daymond rear motor mount. This is a little bit of a unique setup. It's completely solid in the vertical mounting part where it goes into the chassis. As you can see, it's got these smaller bushings in the sideways mounted bolt going through that kind of like the bracket that attaches to the transmission. So we are actually going to use this motor mount on our car. I have had some experiences with some other mounts. Our other ST has the stage 2 rear motor mount from CPE, but I've never personally had this on any cars in the shop. So I'm going to use the Daymond. We get really good reviews on all the Daymond. A lot of guys really like the Daymond stuff. They're side mounts. They have nothing but good things to say about them. So we're gonna give Daymond a shot. If you wanna go full send, the CPE Stage 2 mount is the way to go. This is a full replacement, similar in design to the Daymond with respect to like where the torque is being applied or where the bushing is accepting that vibration and that flex in a sideways pin through the bushing instead of the vertical like these other two, like the Cobb and the Jbr. So this is a little bit different design, but this is, like I said, kind of the full send motor mount. This is beautiful. I mean, this thing is really, really awesome. Like I said, we have that on our other ST. Beautiful motor mount. We have experience with it, so we wanted to try something else. This is gonna get the job done for any street car. One of these more basic mounts is definitely gonna get the job done. So if you have any questions about them, let us know. As always, you can find all this stuff on edgeautosport.com. And last but not least, brake fluid and stainless steel brake lines. I pulled those out of the toolbox because that's where you keep this sort of thing. Without lines and without fluid, you can still kind of max out your setup even with this upgraded line or upgraded rotor and pad combo. If you want to do multiple laps over and over and over again, you know, your brake fluid is going to heat up, and this brake fluid is going to be able to take more heat, more abuse than kind of a more standard factory fluid. So we're going to go with the Motul RBF 600, good old trusty. And then the brake lines. These are probably one of the most underestimated, underrated mods of all time, in my opinion, for any car that comes with rubber brake lines. When you push the pedal down and apply pressure to the brakes, it expands that rubber line, which means that some of that pressure is being relieved before it hits your caliper. So these keep the fluid in line without expanding nearly as much, if at all. These are very strong, and the pedal becomes a lot more direct feel, a lot more consistent feel. I love this upgrade. I wish more people would do it. I wish we sold more of these. It's not like a sexy upgrade, but it is a hell of an upgrade. It just makes the driving experience a lot better, especially if you're going to the track. You got to get something like this. So this causes you to bleed the entire brake system, put new fluid in anyway, so we're going to just flush the brakes out with this new upgraded fluid. This is everything we're doing today. Let's get started. All right, it's time to get these lug nuts off. Thanks for the awesome lug nuts, Ford, first of all. I don't know what the hell is wrong with these lug nuts, but you know, like a 19 doesn't go over it very well. A 20 is like barely loose, which, like, what do you use a 20 for anyway? But I'm gonna use a 20 anyway. I try to put some standard size on there. Nothing fits perfectly, and they're like, you could tell that they're even like tapered lug nuts, like the actual hex pattern is like tapered. So I don't get these Ford lug nuts, they're just goofy, but I'm gonna put a 20 on them and take them off because it just feels better sliding on there. Hopefully they don't round off. Oh, it worked, but you can see the damage. The damage has been done.
No, that's a lot of damage.
I'm not putting these back on there, so these are going in the trash where they belong. I gotta show you the lug nuts we're getting. I forgot to show you that. Ooh, so beautiful. Muteki steel lug nuts. There's some aluminum lug nuts out there. I don't think people should be getting aluminum lug nuts. I'm a steel guy. These are nice and heavy and solid. This is what you want on your car, in my opinion. I think everybody should use steel. So there you go. There's my take for the day. That's free information for you. So I want to show you guys something from our track day. You can feel the ridges in the rotor after a single track day, and the pad actually stayed pretty even. I've seen the pads that get heated up a lot that aren't really made for the track. I've seen them taper a lot from like top to bottom as the rotor spins. Like you can tell one side or one section got hotter than the other and wore away faster. But this one didn't, that didn't happen on this one. I probably didn't do enough laps for it to happen on this one. The rotor profile, like the flatness of it, is kind of destroyed. You can feel it if you ran your finger across it. So yeah, this rotor's kind of junk now. All right, so here are our pads. Woo! And that is exactly, actually this explains a lot of why the rotor looks like it does. You can feel how it's just getting torn up on this one end. Just lots of heat getting pounded through here and just wearing away the pad. I'm not an expert on brakes. I know that it's made up of a lot of magical materials in here. There's some glazing going on, so it kind of makes the pad, you know, a little bit flat, like glassy on the top, which doesn't allow it to mate to the surface of the rotor. And then some of this material has even ground away and it's just become really rough, and that's just tearing up the rotor anyway. So that's like 3 hard laps, 3 at the track on a stock brake pad. When I say hard laps, it was not even max effort, not even max effort. So they just don't hold up.
This is Project Half-Cent after all.
That looks pretty. By the way, this black stuff, this black coating on the EBC rotors wears off like immediately the second you drive it. It's really just a coating they put on to keep the integrity of the metal, and it keeps it from rusting while it's being distributed and packaged and everything. So it's just kind of like just a protectant coating. So that's what the black is. This wears off immediately. The second you hit the brakes, go out on the street, it starts wearing off right away. Ronald McDonald brake pads there. All right, we got the front all done. Let's move it to the back. All right, everyone, we are on to the brake lines now. These are the Goodrich stainless steel lines, much better looking than the factory rubber line. You can see the rubber line right here. So what we're replacing is basically from here, because this line right here is hard. So this doesn't expand already. This is already good to go. You're replacing from this point to the caliper, where it connects to the caliper with this. So it's a pretty simple job. It can get a little bit messy. You can see I've started out by clamping off this brake line. I'll take off the fitting at the caliper first, put this on, and then as quickly as I can take this off and reconnect it. So we lose as little, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna replace the fluid, but I'd rather not get all messy. So gonna try to have as little of a mess as possible. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty simple job. Just take off this bracket, take off the 2 fittings, replace this, and you're good to go. So we'll get started. Alright, so we are finished with the rear. We are moving over to the front. We went in backwards order this time. Gonna finish up these front brake lines, then we'll be on to the rear motor mount, which is a super quick install. Then we will be done for today, which I'm excited about. This thing is gonna be a whole different animal once we're done with all this stuff, so can't wait. We are getting the rear motor mount knocked out now. You have to take off this bottom kind of belly pan here. You can see the front bracket on the rear motor mount. We're gonna be replacing that section back there. So, should be fairly quick, but we'll find out soon. Boom. This actually looks better than the one that I remember taking off of our 2013. I remember several years ago they updated the rear motor mount in the STs to be a little bit better, and I think this is the better version for sure. You can see it doesn't have any like voids in the bushing, so I think this is actually a little bit better than the original Focus ST ones, but still not good enough. So as you can see, 2 very different mounts here. The bushing is in this kind of big area right here that connects to the subframe, and this one is solid. There is no play, no give. The bushing is right here where it connects to this piece. So that is what you're upgrading with the Daymond. Let's put it on. So if you look right here, there's a notch that's actually built into the bushing on one of the sides, not on this side, but on one of the sides. And I knew that was going to be for something. So after I assembled this, you can tell it's definitely for that reason. For on the Focus ST, this little piece of the bracket would get in the way. So the more you know. All right, good morning. We are currently in my truck at the store, at the tool store that we all know to be full of high quality, wonderful, nice tools. It is Harbor Freight, and actually it even says right there, quality tools, lowest prices. One thing is for certain on that sign. We are here to get a vacuum bleeder. Truth be told, I don't bleed too many brakes. I don't bleed too many things in general. We don't work on cars at the shop, we just do dyno tuning, but when we work on our own stuff, I haven't bled anything in a long time, and for a while now, I've wanted a nice vacuum bleeder. So we're bleeding the brakes. It's the morning after we installed those brakes on the ST, so we're gonna go get a vacuum bleeder. Let's go. All right, we are in the correct section. We are at the correct shelf, but they're all out, so next store. We just walked into Napa and we walked out of Napa without a damn brake bleeder. They didn't have one in stock either, so we are heading to the next parts store, although I'm calling ahead of time. I'm starting to get smart here, so hopefully that works. Advance Auto Parts. We are here now. Hopefully they can advance us into our future brake bleeding project.
A few moments later.
God dang! Can't get us no brake bleeder. We'll have to keep searching. So, see you tomorrow. Come on, O'Reilly's. Come through! Come through in the clutch. No dice again. I guess most people like to do it by hand apparently, so either that or pay less money, which is understandable. We are headed to a warehouse a warehouse that Napa told us had it, kind of their more regional warehouse or local warehouse that distributes to the stores. So we're gonna go pick that up. It's a little bit of a drive. Didn't want to go that far, but that's okay. We'll head over there and get it now. All right, if this place doesn't have it, then we're gonna go talk to Amazon. Holy sh**. Excuse me, sorry, pardon my language. Just super excited to get this vacuum bleeder. All right, so we're on the way back to the shop. This is exactly what we were looking for. And on to the next task. We're back at HQ.
Got the part?
Welcome back to the journey. All right, it is time to bleed. So I'm gonna put some new brake fluid in here and start flushing out the lines one by one, starting with the right rear, the furthest away from the master cylinder. So we hook up this canister and vacuum line to the caliper at the bleed screw right here. Hook that up, and then once we crack that open a little bit, we just give her a little air, and it just kind of sucks the fluid right out of the cylinder or the reservoir into the brake line. So we're gonna fill this up a little bit just to make sure that all that fluid is transferring through, and we're putting that mow tool all the way through the line. Bleeding is all done. We're all ready to go. So we are ready to start bedding in these pads and rotors. We're gonna take it out on the street. We have one last surprise for you for this video, and we're gonna go out in the Focus to show you. All right, so starting up the car, you can definitely feel the vibrations from the Daymond motor mount. I have felt much worse. I have felt better. So I would say just initial impression of the Daymond mount is it's kind of like right in the middle of vibrations. But like right now I'm at, 2,000 RPM. And I mean, you don't really notice it's there. It's much smoother. It's not like that rattly vibration feeling. So that's really only at idle, like with AC or on cold startup. That's really when you'll hear and feel the motor mount upgrade the most. The brakes sound like nails against a chalkboard right now, because EBC has some break-in coating on their pads, and then they also have that black coating on the rotors, and so you can definitely hear it grinding as it's getting off. I've already gotten out once, and just a little bit of grinding, you can see it's starting to sweep away the black. So they kind of make a lot of noise in the beginning, but we're just gonna break them in, bed them in, and should be good to go here shortly. All right, here's the surprise. We got the Anki, I can't remember the model name. I think they're the TSBs, but I'll confirm that. They're the twin 5-spokes, they're in black. It's a really, really perfect setup for the Focus specifically, besides the 5x108. It's a very, very good fitment for the Focus. So excited to put these on. We're gonna get these trained for some TPMS sensors. I don't really want the tire light on with these, so I got an extra set. We're cloning them here at Discount Tire right now, and then we'll take them back to the shop and put them on before the track. Actually, we're gonna do both tires at the track, but we'll leave that for the next video. So, but excited about this new addition. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. We really appreciate it. We're gonna be taking it to the track on the next video. We'll share a little bit more about the wheel and tire setup, the exact specs of that on the next video. But the brakes are done, the motor mount's done. This thing is ready to hit the track and ready to grind it out a little bit harder around the track. So looking forward to that. We'll see you next time.